Did Gary Gensler turn from Bitcoin bear to Bitcoin bull in this shocking exit interview that he had on CNBC? Or is he potentially hinting at what is to come with this next administration? Don't believe me? Listen to him yourself.
You taught at MIT. I think you know. I think you got to have some kind of feeling. You've read the books, Bitcoin Standard.
Yeah, I think that Bitcoin is a highly speculative, volatile asset, but with 7 billion people around the globe, 7 billion people want to trade it, just like we do have gold for 10,000 years.
Now, listen to what he said there, right? Everybody's going to talk about how Gary Gensler has been one of the biggest haters and been detrimental to the crypto and Bitcoin industry since he's been in the SEC. But he just openly compared Bitcoin to gold. That sounds pretty bullish to me, folks. And I think that is extremely huge and a big takeaway from this article, to say the very least. From all this as well, he said that Bitcoin is different. He slams crypto. So was Gary Gensler always trying to look in the investors' best interest? Was he trying to protect the investors by doing more research and, quite frankly, just going all in on Bitcoin? Now, with the comparison of gold, that seems extremely bullish going forward. But putting the differences between crypto and Bitcoin, my opinion, is even more bullish, because he's about to hang it up, folks. This is literally his last day in office. He's going to be, quote unquote, stepping down. It seems like he got kicked out just a little bit, but he's stepping out right tomorrow, and this is going to be his last full day as the SEC chair. So why did he do this exit interview? One is kind of interesting thought experiment, to say the very least. And two, why is he saying in this that Bitcoin is similar to gold? So he went and recently said that Bitcoin is still a risky bet, but it's the leading cryptocurrency, and it could morph into a different type of asset as the financial markets participate worldwide in the trade of Bitcoin. He said, with 7 billion people around the globe want to trade it, and we've had gold for 10,000 years. We have Bitcoin. It might be something else in the future as well. So I still think he fully doesn't understand it, but I think it's interesting that he left the door slightly open. And is he hinting at what the potential of this new administration is going to be? Extremely bullish on Bitcoin and everything going forward, simply because of what he's seeing. But I do think it's interesting that he did not back down on any of his crypto policies. In fact, he even doubled down on it. He said, I feel very good about what we've done. Now, a lot of people in the crypto space do not like Gary Gensler because of what he's done to the crypto industry. He's been very anti-crypto. In fact, Gemini's Tyler Winklevoss even said Gary Gensler is evil, quote, evil, because of all of the policies that he has put forth that have been negative to the crypto industry. Now, I think it's very important to note that Gary has also made a big difference between the other cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. In fact, he's even said that all other cryptos can be looked at as securities, while Bitcoin and Ether, to a lesser extent, could not be or should be looked at as different. Now, on his way out, he is now doing this exit interview, which I think is very interesting, comparing Bitcoin to gold. But there's a big difference in the market capitalization between the two right now. So why compare Bitcoin to gold? We've got gold as the largest asset with an $18 trillion market cap, and Bitcoin as the 7th largest with a measly $2 trillion market cap. I mean, in fact, you could see the differences here. You could barely see the green on this screen. So what this chart is showing is it's showing the difference in market capitalization between gold and Bitcoin over time. But the difference is here you can see Bitcoin start to slowly rise a little bit quicker than the gold market capitalization. Now, I don't necessarily think that this is going to happen right away, but it's interesting that Gary Gensler is talking about the two because, like I stated in the earlier fact, right? I mean, we've got market cap of $2 trillion, and literally 9 times bigger is the market capitalization of gold. So even just a 9 times increase of this would be well above that 800,000 Bitcoin or 800,000 price for Bitcoin. So is Gary Gensler all of a sudden becoming one of the biggest Bitcoin bulls that we have out here, comparing Bitcoin to gold, saying that we had gold, quote, for thousands of years, and now we have Bitcoin? So why is he doing this right now, as he was extremely negative towards the Bitcoin space? In fact, it seems like the crypto industry and the Bitcoin industry was seemingly cheering for joy that Gary has decided to step down. But, the security exchange, he aggressively in his oversights of, even traditional media services are describing the way he was approaching the Bitcoin and crypto industry as aggressive. Now, these articles really think about the words and the tones that they're using here. So why are they saying that Gary was very aggressive when it came to the Bitcoin and crypto policies? Well, he never really had any clear oversight. And it even, you could hear the frustration in Joe Squawks and some of this interview here, where he was like, look, you went to MIT. You thought you knew all of these different things. Why were you so aggressive? You read the Bitcoin Standard? You did all these different things. Joe Squawk was even screaming from the rooftops, why haven't you gotten it yet? But I think the one interesting takeaway from all of this is that he differentiated between the two, saying like, hey, Joe, I know that you were very anti-altcoins, and we've been very anti-altcoins as well. So let's listen into another part of this interview here, where you can hear Gary Gensler actually saying like, hey, Joe, we agree with you.
Years from now, it's going to be something from the 18th century with tulips.
Joe, it's hard to predict. I think I really do like you, because I know that you think I'm going to out you, think negatively on many of these altcoins. You, Joe. But
right.
Yeah, see, so he even said during this little portion of the interview here that he sees Bitcoin and altcoins as different than the rest of the altcoins, right? So he thinks Bitcoin and Ether, to a lesser extent, are different. Now, he never classified Bitcoin as securities, although he classified all of their crypto tokens and the speculation between them as, some sort of gambling. But I think the interesting part is that, Gensler never really went and cracked down super hard on anything related to Bitcoin, right? So he made it difficult for the ETFs to pass. Sure. Maybe, the United States would have gotten those passed a little bit quicker. But I believe that, with Gary Gensler trying to protect investors, he dramatically hurt the altcoin market, which I think in the short term is positive. But I also think it's interesting timing that this interview came out, and then we had the Trump token get launched here, where we saw this meme coin from the president now launch and exceed 12 billion in market cap in nearly just 24 hours. It is absolutely insane mania here. I don't even know what's going on here, folks. And I don't think Gary Gensler could have actually predicted this would have happened either. Obviously, there's been some developments in the background, and this wasn't just a spur of the moment thing. This was planned from the beginning. And I think it just hurts the Bitcoin industry by having the president have some sort of meme token. Now people are asking me and reaching out to me about the meme token. They're saying, Brandon, how could I get rich? Do I just buy the Trump's meme token, or do I buy Bitcoin? And I'm always telling all these people, you should always just buy Bitcoin and quit speculating on these different assets. Bitcoin is the only one that's deemed as not a security. And so it's thus looked at as property, which is completely different than a security in the United States. And I think Gary Gensler understood that. But, having a meme token launch shortly after, even just a few days before the president is, coming into office, I think is interesting, especially the fact that Gensler never said that Bitcoin and Ether are securities. And he has said, quote, that we haven't said Ethereum isn't a security. And then the classification, whether Ethereum is a security or not, has been hazy over the past few years. So it's interesting that he's even seeing the differences between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I think that that is going to further develop here in these next few years, where they're going to be looking at Bitcoin as a slightly different asset. There's been a lot of speculation. There's a lot of altcoins out there. But the SEC chair obviously is trying to protect the investors. And what we saw in the last bull run was we saw the likes of FTX, Celsius, all of these other exchanges implode on themselves. So I think that there's going to be a big guard up when it comes to the SEC chair, although the meme token of the president now throws somewhat of a wrench in there. Like, would we really see a meme token exceed 12 billion in market cap that quickly if it wasn't for the president or president-elect start to come in? I think it's kind of fishy timing to see all this come up, but I do think it is interesting that we're seeing this in the age of, our first Bitcoin and quote crypto president now coming in. We see this meme coin come in, and now we've got a new we're going to have a new SEC chair. So here we've got some things going on in the chat. Frank from upstate New York saying, gold, give it to Peter Schiff on his gold island. We'll live in the future of freedom as it equalizes all people that adopt it. As it is adopted, people will be paid in it by choice over fiat. I think that time's coming soon. I try to get as much of my sponsorships and other things to pay me in Bitcoin. Some of them still want to conduct in fiat, but the number of sponsors and other things that are paying me in Bitcoin is in fact increasing. So I hope to see that number increase. And I think more people are going to be looking to pay in better money. And All Night Hider, the GOAT, who is now back in the chat. What's up, man? Good to see you. But deep down inside of everyone, there's a Bitcoiner trying to get out. Almost a full metal jacket quote. And I agree with you. I think at the end of the day, the speculating is putting it nicely. I call it dumb asymmetrical out of favor gamble. Yep. And I believe you were talking about the Trump coin at that. And I agree. Like, all of these altcoins have just been essentially gambling. If you look at the altcoins in a 3-month period, there's only been one meme or altcoin that has beat Bitcoin over a 3-month period multiple times. And that was Dogecoin. It happened when Dogecoin initially had its, meme token craze, and then it happened a second time when Elon started tweeting about Dogecoin. So those two excess factors, obviously played a role there where, hey, if you want to try to find lightning in a bottle, it is a free and open market, but I highly don't recommend it just because there is some dangers there, right? You could have the potential of losing a lot of money. And if you just look at the Bitcoin chart here that we've got, I mean, this thing looks pretty nice, man. We're sitting at 105, almost 106K. If you look down here, we've got one day above up 1%. But, 6 months, year to date, 13%. Since the start of January. In the past year, we have up 154%. Why chase these outrageous gains and try to get rich when, Bitcoin seems to be the sure no-brainer? It seems to be the one that's the apex predator. It's the top dog. It is continuing to prove that it's Bitcoin and Bitcoin only, and it's going to continue to prove that over time. I do like this comment in the chat. I do love me some tinfoil hat times, but he said, Gensler was a secret maxi. He wanted to kill crypto. He understands Bitcoin better than most Bitcoiners. I would not be surprised about that, to be honest with you, because of the resistance that he gave to the crypto markets. Now, I do think that he hurt the ETFs at a certain point, but if he was a maxi, why would he want ETFs? So maybe delaying all that was, part of the plan for to allow the plebs to continue to scoop up. He has said in interviews that he's never owned Bitcoin and he, quote, never will, but maybe he did in the background and we just don't know. And he just wouldn't admit it on live television. So I think that's an interesting thought experiment. But everything that he's saying and that he's done points to Gary Gensler actually knowing a little bit about Bitcoin. Now, he was very resistant. He was, putting out policies that were not great towards Bitcoin. But I think at the end of the day, he hurt the crypto industry more than he hurt the Bitcoin industry. So I think that is going to be, what he's really remembered for, and not necessarily his negative policies when it comes to Bitcoin. Now, with Bitcoin, there's a lot of different ways you can buy and sell Bitcoin, and Gensler's allowed a lot of those ways to run around. Now, one of the better ways that I've found is to go to unbanked. You can go to an ATM. They have over 28,000 around the country of the United States. You can go to their app, go download it, unbanked.com/greencandle. Now, if you download this and you download it via this app, you have a chance to win a raffle of 200 smackers, 200 cold ones, 200 big ones. So Unbanked's great because if you want to buy, if you want to sell, they have 0 fees when you sell. You can get it straight cash to your Venmo, debit, or PayPal account, whatever you'd like. So it's absolutely amazing and all instantaneous as well with 0 fees. So why don't you guys go ahead and download the app to enter the raffle and continue this run going? Because like I was showing you guys here from the beginning, that Gary Gensler has been declaring Bitcoin as different, right? He's looking at Bitcoin and saying, hey, Bitcoin is not like every other crypto token here. Bitcoin is its own boss. Bitcoin is the only one that is truly decentralized. Bitcoin is the only one that doesn't have a marketing department. Bitcoin is the only one that can avoid these pump and dump schemes. So just be cautious when you're looking at some of these meme coins. I highly recommend that you don't get into those strictly because you don't know a lot of the back end inner workings and what is going on there. So I think that, Gary Gensler was able to figure out that Bitcoin is different than the other altcoins. And I think you can too. So I appreciate you guys all in the chat. As my man, All Hider has said, like that like button. It is on YouTube, so maybe I'm not going to say that word, but smash the like button, smoke it like Cheech and Chong, as he said famously, and then hit the subscribe button for your boy. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys all at the next one.